We are live.
All right. Hello, gang. What's going on today? Joshua and Robert here. Wanted to jump on and talk about a piece that's been really up for a lot of people, and certainly for a lot of the dudes that I've been talking to as we've been enrolling for our Authentic Dating Secrets 11-week training. Obviously, we're in this period of coronavirus. People are stuck in their houses to a significant degree. As a result, there's a desire for connection. There's a lot of people, men and women out there, who aren't getting the level of romantic, physical, sexual connection that they want. And the dating app use is up. I've seen some stats on this truth, and I've spoken to men for whom this is true. And, one of the biggest challenges that I've experienced in speaking to guys, one of the biggest challenges they've shared with me is this idea of getting the kinds of matches that they want, the type of match and the amount of matches that they want with women that they consider highly attractive. Highly attractive can mean a lot of different things, of course. Obviously, physical appearance comes into play, but for the men that we work with, there absolutely are other qualities that make a woman attractive. Personality qualities, emotional qualities.
Yes.
What's that?
Interests.
Interests, yeah. So, what does it mean for these guys to be going out on dating apps and swiping and not really getting that great of results? And some of these dudes are, one of the dudes I was talking to is a fairly good looking dude. He's not too shabby. And there's this piece that I see over and over and over again, especially in American culture. I think it's a little bit different in other countries, but I certainly see it in American culture, is this the way that the level of energy that we invest in being an attractive man for the level of attractive woman that we want to bring into our lives. So for any guy listening, and I guess if you're a woman too, you can follow along here. But for any guys listening who aren't getting the kind of results that you want on your dating apps and in your dating lives, I'm curious to ask you a question. What does highly attractive mean to you in a woman? For you, what does highly attractive mean? And then ask yourself, are you showing up as a highly attractive man for that woman? Are you investing in yourself in all these different ways that we're going to break down a little bit more, in a way that's going to have you appear to this woman as a highly attractive man? And I'll turn this over to you in a moment, but I just want to qualify this by saying, this is not about being or faking something so that you can get attention or validation from somebody else. This is about making an honest acknowledgement that a woman who's putting time and energy and effort into becoming the best woman that she can be is going to choose men who are doing the same for themselves. And I do it for myself because it feels good to be that man, because it feels good to get to engage with women who are also highly attractive to me. It's a very reciprocal joint venture, not just I'm doing this to get that.
Absolutely. And I talk about my own personal journey around this and appearance stuff, because I was raised by a gay man who was very fastidious, took really good care of his body, dressed really nicely, was an incredible interior designer, and created a beautiful home space, right? So I inherited that. I would literally dress my friends up before we'd go to the mall to talk to girls when I was 14 years old. I would be like, I'm not going to be seen with you looking like that. Right. So I had that early on, and then I had to rebel against that and say, oh, I don't care about my appearance. My appearance doesn't matter. I just want people to accept me for who I am. I'm not going to create some veneer. I'm not going to get caught up in vanity and get stuck in some idea of caring too much about my appearance and what other people think of me. Right. And so then I grew my dreadlocks. I started dressing like a hippie. I stopped showering very often, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Because I had to rebel against this inherited norm and a cultural norm about looking beautiful. And then I got to reclaim that. And in reclaiming my own sense of style, this is about your sense of style. Style is a core element of your being. Everybody has style. Every one of us has a sense of style, of something that's unique to us, right? And for guys in our culture, there's a conscious reason that I just stated that we often don't invest ourselves in our appearance or a sense of style that shows, which is, I just want people to accept me for who I am. I don't want to put on a show. I want people to accept me for who I am. And of course that's true, but in many cases, nobody's, especially in online dating, nobody's ever going to get to know who you are if you're not showing an appearance that is appealing and desirable, right? And so make your style your own in whatever way you do, but do the shit out of it, right? And there's an unconscious subtext to that statement, which is a subtext of entitlement. I'm entitled to get the maximum benefit from the minimum effort. I'm entitled for people to want to like me for who I am. Do you have any idea? Have you been with a woman? Do you have any idea how much attention women put on being on their beauty, on choosing colors for the and textures and fabrics of their clothes, on choosing specific colors for their makeup? Like, women put an incredible amount of attention, and it is a feminine thing. It's a very feminine thing. And so we have another unconscious reason why we don't put attention on that, which is it's feminine, right? Guys, women should be attracted to me for my pure animal potency. Like, it shouldn't matter how I appear, right? So, but there's a level of entitlement. We've never had to put as much energy into being attractive as women do typically in this world. We don't have to put ourselves together that way, but you can, and you can get creative about it, and it can be fun for you to really to cultivate your own unique sense of style, your own unique sense of dapperness and dopeness, right? And there are multiple reasons why, unconscious reasons why we resist as men cultivating a sense of style and cultivating that appearance.
Yeah, and I love what you're hitting there at the end, because there's a lot of ways that you can look at what highly attractive means, but one of the things that it means is somebody who gives a crap about themselves, somebody who values who they are, how they care for themselves internally, emotionally, mentally, how they care for themselves physically, which includes appearance, style, hygiene, physical space. Is my house a mess? Do I treat myself well, basically? Because if I treat myself well, chances are that I'm going to treat the person that I'm with well and with respect as well, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, do you take care of what you have? Yep. You are ultimately what you have. How do you take care of that? And that goes beyond what you're wearing, right? It goes deeply into your self-care, how well you eat, how much you exercise, how much time you give yourself to be in your hobbies and creative pursuits, how committed you are to your purpose. Those are all levels of taking care of what you have and keeping this instrument, which is your body, tuned, so that you can play the most beautiful music out of it possible.
So look, I don't know how this conversation is landing for you. Maybe it's landing well, and maybe some of you out there are listening and being like, yeah, but appearances are so shallow and I don't want to buy into that. Look, there's studies that show that people who dress sharply or dress beautifully, they're received better. This is not just in the human world. You look at every other animal species, and beauty is an important factor in desirability and in the mating process and in the pairing process. This is a fact of life. It's not bad or weird unless we make it bad or weird. It's an opportunity to say, how can I love myself better by tuning this instrument? How can I do it because it makes me feel good? And when I feel good in my body, that's the kind of person people want to be around. And I want to say this, that for a lot of guys, I think it becomes self-sabotage. It's like, I'm going to not dress as sharply. I'm going to not care for myself physically as well as I could. I'm not going to groom myself as well as I could. I'm not going to clean my physical space up as well as I could. Because, you know, if that's you in any way, I want you to inquire, in what ways are you just proving your own lack of self-worth to yourself? In what ways are you just proving your own undesirability and turning it into self-sabotage.
And guys, it's vulnerable. It's a vulnerable thing to want to look good. It's a vulnerable thing to want people to desire you. It's a
Yeah.
vulnerable thing to dress up, to
Yeah.
take sexy photos of yourself and
Yep.
post them in a public sphere. It's fucking vulnerable, right? It's an investment. And if you want to, if you want it bad enough, then be willing to invest what it takes to make it happen. And all of us are like, investment by nature is risk. You're taking a risk. I don't know if I'm going to get the response that I want. I might get the opposite response that I want from doing this vulnerable thing and spending time and energy and getting dressed up and taking super hot pictures of myself, the hottest pictures I can take, and posting them up on this dating site, right? Or on social media, which is its own kind of form of dating site, if you want to look at it that way. And we can't take away the vulnerability factor. That's not going away. What you can do is say, ask yourself, am I willing to take the risk? Am I willing to risk what it takes to have what I want? If you're not willing to risk it, then stop fucking pretending that you want it. You either want it bad enough to take the risks that it takes to have it, or you don't want it bad enough to take the risks that it takes to have it. And it's much more important to you to feel comfortable. If you want to just be comfortable, then go rock the world in your sweatpants and your flip-flops, bro. Like, that's fine, but don't then go ask yourself why you're not getting the results you want around dating, because
Yeah. And ultimately, this is a long game. This is an infinite game, this process of how do I become more fully self-expressed in a way that transmits my own self-worth. That's an infinite game. And there are some really simple things that you can do. So for the dude listening who's maybe right now having some trouble getting the matches he wants on his dating app, there's a few really simple things that you can do, even right now during this whole quarantine period. Do a little bit of, go look at your profile and say, are these high quality photos? Are they all just like shot? I was talking to a woman last night that I matched with on a dating app. One of her biggest complaints was like shots like this, every shot. They don't show the guy's full body. And maybe some guys out there, maybe that you're a little bit insecure about your body. Look, there are butt ass ugly dudes out there who are getting more women in their beds than they even know what to do with, because they own who they are. So if doing a full body shot brings up insecurity for you, great. There's a place to jump in and do your inner work. And it doesn't take that much to go. You can shoot some really high quality photos with your iPhone that show different levels of personality with you. Don't put the photos up that have got you and a group of 5 other dudes and they have to figure out which guy you are. Put photos of you that show different aspects of you, that show your face, that show your whole body, that show you dressed in a way that shows like you care about yourself, that show the fun side of you, maybe that show some of the different aspects of your personality that are unique to you. That alone will set you above probably 70 to 80% of the dudes on the dating apps. That alone.
And that's just step one of getting a match. But it's also, as Robert said, it's an infinite game. It's the game of stepping out of mediocrity into a sense of style and into a sense of your lived quintessence, your effortless essence of who you are, expressing that everywhere you go unabashedly. And the more your essence you express, the more you're in line for people to snicker behind your back and make fun of you. Right? And as long as you're just being mediocre and they do that, it's like, well, I didn't care. It just doesn't matter. But no, when you're really fully expressing yourself as you are and as you intend to be, showing the world who you are, you're setting yourself up to be judged and criticized for the thing that you value most. Right? Well done. It's called fucking courage. And nobody who's accomplished anything of worth in this world has done any different. Right? So get out there and get what you want. Be willing to risk what it takes to get what you want. That just is a fundamental axiom.
By caring about yourself.
Yeah.
By upping your care level about yourself.
And we're living in a world of shifting paradigms around relationship, around what the basis of relationship is. Masculine and feminine dynamics. We no longer have these strict gender roles and these sort of social norms to fall back on around how we do relationship. And so the typically like the masculine man whose potency speaks for itself, and women having to be this pretty thing, are disappearing. Men, we're having to actually explore our own feminine, which is self-care and which is appearance. We get to express ourselves and explore that and express that in a totally different way than we ever have before. And embrace it. You can embrace it or you can fight it. It's really up to you. Like, and in their fruits ye shall know them, as the Mac Daddy himself said.
So thanks for joining us today. Would love to hear in the comments any thoughts that come up for you, any questions. You know, I've had the thought I would love to do a little dating profile seminar for dudes where we tweak and tune up their dating profiles, give them suggestions. If anything like that is interesting to you, let us know. Although you got value out of this, let us know the one takeaway that you got that you can actually implement into your dating profile, into your dating life, the one place where you can make a little tune up or an upgrade. We would love to hear.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
All right. Thanks for tuning in.